Philip Espinoza here from Temecula Speed Cubing School. How do cubers solve it that fast? How does a cuber solve it in 3 seconds?
How?
A lot of people, when they see stuff like that, they just assume there must be some kind of trick or hack or something. And even I myself, over the last 20 years, I've seen times drop to under 5 seconds, under 4 seconds, and now 3 seconds on average. It's actually pretty incredible. So what explains the ability to go from 20 seconds to 10 seconds to 5 seconds? To better explain how cubers do these kinds of times, I'm going to show you how a speed cuber solves cubes in general, and I will explain to you the differences in times and how a cuber is able to solve it in 3 seconds. So how does a speed cuber solve it as fast as they do? Well, I'm going to explain to you how they do it and how it differs from the beginner's method. So it starts off with a cross. It's the same as beginner's method. You're going to get the cross, and then instead of getting each individual corner piece in the top layer and then moving on to the second layer, you're going to do that in one move like this. You're going to get that back layer, you're going to get the next F2L pair, you're going to get the next one, and that is called the first 2 layers. It's broken down into 4 steps. You're getting these 2 pieces at the same time across the way. That's done intuitively, or some people do it algorithmically, most people do it intuitively. When you get to the last layer, you're going to be trying to orient these pieces instead of just the cross pieces. Instead of just the edge pieces, you're going to be trying to orient the edge pieces and the corner pieces. This is known as OLL. There's about 57 of those. Then you're going to permute the pieces. And it's about 21 different cases. And with practice, you can get your solves down to about 15 seconds. But what is the difference between a 15-second cuber and a 10-second cuber? Well, they're going to be essentially doing the same thing, but a 10-second cuber is going to be a lot better trained in terms of their look ahead, in terms of their ability to inspect the cross and plan for the first F2L pair. So they might see a cross like this, and they will be able to plan ahead for the first F2L pair. It's a little bit trickier with some, but they could see which F2L pairs are most efficient, and they're going to be able to quickly execute OLL and PLL. That will get you under 10 seconds. Now, when you're talking about 5-second cubers and under, these are ridiculously fast times. So what separates 10-second cubers from 5-second cubers is not only the ability to inspect the cross, but they're going to be inspecting for X crosses or even double X crosses. Now, X crosses are extended crosses. It basically means that you solve the first or second F2L pairs while you're making the cross at the same time. So this is rather advanced, and it looks like something like that. Okay, there's more efficient ways to do it, but when you're talking about 5 seconds or under, they're going to be really well trained at foreseeing and looking for that extended cross or the double extended cross. And then their F2L pair, their F2L is going to be super elite. They're going to be able to essentially do it rotationless. And when you enter the last slot, they might know ZBLS, and then at this point, they're going to know how to do ZBLL, which is solving that last layer, OLL and PLL in one move, if you have the cross already solved. So that's how people solve it in 5 seconds or less. It really is the elite level of spending time practicing the cube, training your eye, looking ahead. The look ahead is seamless to where they can just fully focus on their turning speed and trying to turn as fast as they can look ahead. Everything is maximized, and it just becomes a matter of practicing, learning your ZBLL algorithms. And that is the difference between a sub-10 solver and a 5-second solver. So that's how speed cubers these days solve cubes ridiculously fast, whether you're solving it in 15 seconds, under 10 seconds, or even under 5 seconds. Now, in my experience, what explains the crazy drop in times that we've witnessed over the last 10 years? Well, a couple of things. I think people really underestimate what the pandemic did for cubing. I think spending all that time indoors, it opened up an entire generation of younger cubers who were out of school and they had nothing really else to do besides spam the cube. That plus a lot of the technology in the cubes these days. This cube is a GAN 16. It's got magnets. I'm an old school cuber. I still remember when we had to do it yourself. We had DIY cubes and we had silicone spray. This cube has magnets in it that align the cube and help you turn. This is like the smoothest turning cube I've ever felt in my life. Like sometimes it feels like the cube is turning on its own. I remember when I first did an unboxing, shout out to Cameron Brown from a Speedcubers shop for hooking it up with this cube. And I remember when I first opened this, I just couldn't believe how crazy advanced these cubes were. So there is a huge advance in technology. At the same time, there is huge advance in the amount of motivated cubers who are motivated to learn ZB, an entire ZB, which is solving the last layer, essentially one algorithm. And so you have an entirely new generation of cubers who are motivated to get as fast as they can. The competition is even crazier. And you can't underestimate the impact that competition has on the speed, the general average speed of the top cubers. Back in my day, it was around under 10 seconds. Everybody was racing to get to under 10 seconds. And once somebody broke under 10 seconds, everybody started going under 10 seconds. So then that happened with 5 seconds. And now everybody's pushing the limits to see how fast you can get this solved. So yes, it is a combination of technology and motivation of young cubers who this is really all they do outside of school. Older cubers like myself who have jobs and have other responsibilities. I got 4 kids. It's a little bit harder for me to stay motivated to try to solve faster. But that is how Speedcubers solve as fast as they do.